Team Asia. As you guys know, I am Bea Lim. I'm the Managing Director of Team Asia. And today, I couldn't think of an even more perfect guest than one of my favorite people in the world. We've been partners for so long, and the two of us have really the same gusto for life, the same passion for communications and the things that we do. And we also have the same definition of partnership, meaning we know how important it is. And so I wanted to bring him here to talk about how important connections, partnerships, and collaborations are so that we can all get inspired by, what's out there and how we can bring it forward to the next level experience. So without further ado, I am bringing today's guest, Mr. Moe Soriano, who is the Marketing and PR Head for Transaction Banking of UnionBank. Hi, Mo. Good afternoon.
Hello. Good afternoon, Bay. Good afternoon, good morning, and good evening to your viewers.
I love it. We were able to just span all of our viewers and listeners, Mo, from all over the world. That's partnership.
Definitely.
Mo, before anything else, you and I talk, all the time, but I still feel we need to have, a pulse of where we both are. How are you? How are you doing these days? Kamusta?
Okay naman. Things are more stable compared to how things started last March 16, 2020, when all of the previous playbooks that are known to mankind, tapo na yun lahat. But right now, we're getting a hang of things. Business is doing well. Health of the family is also okay. I hope sa inyo rin, ganun din.
Super. I mean, Mo, I love what you said, right? Like, we were coming in from a time and place where, everything was tapon, right? Like we had to set it aside because we had to really look into what we needed to get done to move forward. And so many things were uncertain. I mean, we were even having these conversations at the beginning of last year, but now, Mo, there's just so much to be happy about, to be grateful of, to be proud about, because ang dami natin na pagdaanan and we are still here. We're standing strong. We're helping our communities and we're doing great work, right? So
Yeah,
I'm
that's
just proud that we are here today, and claiming that future. So Mo, on that note, I just wanted to quickly check. You are with Union Bank, the
yes,
best digital bank.
yes, and
Congratulations.
running,
I
and
know
running.
and running. I am like such a proud partner, right? And I love Union Bank. I have a quick question. You guys are the best digital bank. You guys are super, super busy. You're taking care of customers when they need it the most. How has work been? I can just imagine how fast-paced, it has been since the start of the different shifts.
Yeah, thank you for that question, Bea. Actually, it's been an interesting time of our lifetime, as I would quote our internal huddles. So, to answer your question, how things are, again, a lot has changed since we started this pandemic, how this pandemic started from March 16. Before it were crazy nights. Our meetings would end until late in the evening because we needed to figure things out. But right now, it's all about making sure that our customers get the best service that they want. So, in fact, what's cool about how things are running with Union Bank is that we were already prepared even before this scenario came about. So part of our digital transformation story, if your viewers are familiar, is that we started this in way 2000 back in 2016, and right now we're one of the industries or companies who are blessed to be able to continue be of service to the Filipino people. And in terms of how we are as a team, of course, there will still be challenges because, of course, technology is never perfect. But at the end of the day, as long as our customers are happy, and recently we were also recognized as one of the most helpful banks in the pandemic. And for us, that's the ultimate testament that we have already achieved the fact that we are of service to our customers and to the Filipino people.
I love that, Mo. And nakikita naman ng ating viewers today, Mo.
Yeah.
You are super chill. I am loving this energy. I can feel, the happiness and the gusto radiating from you, Mo. But you're also giving off such a steady vibe. And I want to know your secrets, Mo. How do we keep cool, calm, and collected during during these times where we are still actually riddled with a lot of uncertainty. While it's better, I know,
Yeah,
but ang dami pa rin nating ganap, diba?
yeah,
So
yeah.
how do you keep it cool, calm, and collected? I want to know your secrets.
Well, meron akong iko-quote na isang famous line sa moving Jurassic World, yung remake. And the line of, I forgot the name of the boss. Boss siya ni girl. But the line was, accept that you are never, in order to be happy, you must accept that you are never in control of anything. So in the pandemic, a lot has been going on. So and I cannot sugarcoat that na. 'Di ba? But what is true and what is factual, and I am guessing not only for myself but for also for your viewers and for yourself, Bea, is that uh back then we were so obsessed of making sure na lahat ng mga detalye in control tayo. Alam natin yan sa mga events and everything. But right now, when the pandemic has turned around our lives, not only our lives, actually how we actually live, uh, it gave me a proper perspective na you should be able to only prioritize things that are relevant and accept that things will really never go your way. 'Di ba? So yung mga schedule na biyahe sana or mga catch-ups or plans that you need to do your life, you need to adjust. If you fail to accept them, then that's where the struggle comes in. And again, to answer your question, that's how I view things since the lockdown has came about, and really just accepting what's really happening out there, and just survive and live by the day.
I like it. I like it, Mo, because it's the reality,
Yeah.
right? There are so many things that are out of our control. And the more we think about them, the more diba, the anxiety creeps in, a lot more of the uncertainty creeps in. And, right now, what we need to be concentrated on would be being able to, to have one foot in front of the other as we
Yes.
diba, journey forward.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I like what you said. Just accepting,
Yeah.
that we are not in control of everything is the first step to
Yeah.
happiness,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? So I love that, Mo. How about support systems? I want to know also from your end, right? I mean, with everything that's going on and how we need to move forward, as you both said, how important are support systems for you?
Okay. Actually, I'd like to thank you for that question because one thing that I wasn't able to share earlier in the previous question, and now we're in the context of what keeps us basically, aside from the happiness and accepting those things, is the fact that at the end of the day, all of us play a role, and that's one thing I've learned from you also, Bea, diba? So, and that role is basically to make sure that you steer the way, and in terms of support group, of course, it's a symbiotic system. If every one of you else is frantic, di ba? Patay na tayo lahat, di ba? So that was how we started, to be honest. But as part of my role and in the team is that I need to be able to communicate externally how we are able to for example, handle the situation,
Mm,
what are the new cut-offs and timings based on the new pandemic. And if I am also as frantic like everyone else, then we won't be able to do our job.
correct.
And in terms of support system, aside from having friends and family, it's also important that you have your faith. And when you have your faith, and of course, this is me speaking as a Catholic, but of course, too, I'm sure your viewers have other faith. They believe in whatever religion they find themselves into. Is as long as you hold on to that faith and you believe in the that things happen for a reason, and again going back to acceptance to what is really going on, then definitely those are the key ingredients to make sure that you are okay in the situation, at the same time you have a solid support system and you don't rely only to the people around you, but you also rely on to the faith that you have.
Well, that's beautiful. I think that that's a perfect reminder,
Yeah.
right? That we are not alone, and I think that that's what our listeners need to be reminded of. we know that every day, actually, we are given reminders that we are not alone, that we're not
Yeah.
going through this alone. But ladies and gents, let what Mo just shared sit with us and be the reminder that we needed today, right? That we are never alone. We have, our families, our friends, our teams, but most importantly, we also have our faith, right? And I think that that's such a beautiful thing to hold on to as we move our ships forward,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
We, like what you said, Mo, about we all have a role to play, and
Yeah.
that includes our personal life as well. So
Yeah.
thank you so much for
Yeah.
sharing that, Mo. I was so inspired by what you said earlier. Actually, when you brought the we all have a role to play, it brought me back to so many memories you and I have together
Yes.
about that
Yeah.
alone, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Just to share with all of our listeners, Mo and I have been partners for years, actually, and we've worked on a lot of great things together. Mo, grabe. I'm so proud of the things that we've cooked up and the things
Yeah.
that, we were able to push out there. But I'm reminded actually of what teamwork was, which is what I really wanted to talk to you about today with what you said, that we all
Yeah.
have a role to play, but we also all have a team to help,
Yes.
and that we all have a team that, we have a team to lean on, but we also have a team that will help us drive things forward. So I just wanted to touch on that, Mo, because today I really wanted people to see how important partnerships are, meaningful connections, especially at a time when we feel that, we're all on social media, we're all on digital, but since we can't see each other, there's this weird disjointed, thought, if am I really with people, because
Uh,
it's usually just through digital means, right? So I want to bring us back to, the very definition of meaningful connections, right? Which is partnership, right?
yeah. Yeah.
So, meron akong tanong sa'yo, Mo. Ano bang hinahanap mo sa partner? Wink,
Ay,
wink, nudge, nudge.
ano ba yan? Personal ba yan o ano? Kasi
because,
mahirap magkaroon ng partner ngayong pandemic pag signal ka. Yun ang masasabi ko.
correct. Oh, yun
Ah,
naman, sinasabi ko lang, PG tayo, Mo. So,
PG,
kailangan
PG.
doon
Okay,
tayo
okay.
sa, work partnership.
Okay, okay. Siyempre, pag sinabi namang work, buti kinlaro mo yan. Pag sinabing work, yun dapat maasahan mo, di ba? At
Correct,
laging,
correct.
at sure ka na kahit anong mangyari, they know. And it's, again, going back to what I said earlier, it's a symbiotic process.
Yeah.
You have each other's back.
I like that. Symbiotic partnership, symbiotic relationship. It's like
Yeah,
you don't know where one starts and the other
yeah,
one ends, right? And I think that with that, I just wanted to add that, that a great partnership also evolves, right? With
yes.
what you both need.
You both
So
learn.
correct. Because that's the essence for me of partnership, diba? You guys are not just doing things to get a task done. It's about you guys also looking always for the next thing, right? The next level experience, so to speak. Because, here, in the world that we live in, we are all, well, Mo, I know that you're also Mr. Fix It. We're always on the lookout for the next project that we want to push forward for the betterment of the Filipino people, right? So since yun yung ating task, yun yung ating mission, we're always going for more, diba? And it's so important to have a partner that that believes in the same values as you do. Ako talaga, Mo, really, I mean, you and I talk about this all the time, but I always feel that when I have an idea for something, or when you have an idea for something, we're both already like, we just look at each other and we already know what the next thing is, right? Because, once, if you both believe in the same values and the same goal, it comes naturally, what the next step is, right? So I hope you echo that, because that's what I really do think with our with our partnership,
Yeah,
Mo.
definitely, definitely. And now that you've mentioned that, it's cool to think back and actually, those are things that when you look at what's happening today, it's nice to remember those times na, oo nga, whether how crazy my idea was, and you would calmly look at me with that denial face of yours. Wait lang, parang mali yung iniisip mo. Those are things that happen in a real partnership. You are
Correct.
honest. May konting way to say it, but Of course, you cannot outright say it na, hoy, ang ano ba yan? But that's what's cool about this partnership. We can openly talk about things. And again, going back to the symbiotic relationship, diba? It's all about a give and take process. It's not about our way or your way, but it's all about heading us to our goals to be met and achieved.
You know, Mo, thanks for sharing that, ha. Kasi I love that you were able to pinpoint the other side of partnership. Because of course, any conversation like this, you want to talk about the rainbows and butterflies and the peaches and
It's
cream of
never
partnership.
rainbows and butterflies anyway.
Diba, parang, but then that's what gets on the books, right? That's
Yeah,
what gets into the quotes. It's
yeah, yeah,
the beautiful, how the partnership works, which is true. Don't get me wrong. It's the end goal, and when you succeed, you're really pushing forward. But there is that real side of partnership, like what you said, wherein there is that honesty, transparency, open communication, and
yeah,
and hear me out, because I feel that our listeners also need to hear this, diba? Na um it's so important, guys, to have an open and honest relationship with your
yeah,
partner,
yeah, yeah,
because it's actually a key to success.
yeah,
If you are not open, even if it's a difficult and hard conversation, there is that possibility that something will fall through the cracks or fail, diba? Having each other's back doesn't only mean the pat on the back and say good
yeah,
job, Mo, or just saying yes, we did it together, diba? Real partnership is having those honest to goodness conversations and being okay with it and
yeah,
saying,
yeah,
yeah, you know what, Mo actually has my back, because he was honest with me, and he was gracious to tell me that I needed to do things differently, right?
yeah,
And stuff
yeah,
like that. So absolutely, Mo, thanks for reminding our listeners of that, because it's so important, guys, na in every partnership there is that openness even with the hard times.
yeah,
So
yeah.
Mo, on that note, because you sort of opened the conversation with reminiscing, mag-reminisce muna tayo.
Yeah. But before on that note,
Yeah, go, go, go.
we talked about the openness and
Yeah.
having that kind of honesty. I just like also to share to our viewers na aside also from your personal views, it also helps that for example in Union Bank, that's our culture. And it carries out to across the employees or the teams that are again taking part of their roles as individuals, diba? Kasi at the end of the day, if for you yourself, diba, you have different kinds of values, but there's always a great impact if your leadership or the team that you work on shares the same values, and that's where we align. And at the same time, my personal views are also aligned, and that's how this flavor of our partnership makes it work.
Yeah, because 'di ba, parang open communication, honesty, trust and respect are the backbone of
Yeah,
every solid partnership. And like what I love what you said, that at Union Bank that's the culture, because culture is very important, right? Because it's what you pass on. And at the end of the day, that culture is your DNA. There is that trust that everybody is pushing towards one goal with the same values and knowing how to get it done the same way as you would, right?
yeah,
So
yeah.
that's faith in a different direction, right, Mo? I
Yes.
mean, that's actually a lot of faith that we put into our culture as well. Ang dami ko tuloy mga memories about our projects
Yeah,
together.
yeah. Simulan mo
So,
na.
simulan ko na, diba? No, but it just brings me back kasi, Mo, to one of my favorite projects that I've done with you guys, and this is super close to Team Asia's heart, Mo, was when we actually launched Global Linker together. I mean,
Yes.
I still remember the time that my team came back to the office after meeting you guys and said, hey, there's this really new cool project or program that Union Bank is launching that really brings all of these great brands and MSMEs together, to be able to build an ecosystem that can push economic progress, right? And it's not just here in the Philippines, but it's also about being able to tap into so many, businesses all over, the different regions that we connect with. And And for me, that was such a beautiful, solid foundation in terms of what we love doing, Team Asia, nation building, and Union Bank's mission, right? To serve the Filipino people. So, yeah, Mo, do you want to talk about your experiences also with Global Linker? There's just too many, but let's start with that. Let's start with that.
Uh, and of course, aligned to nation building, our goal is ultimately to tech up the Philippines,
Correct.
whether it's a business, whether it's an individual. Now, going back to our favorite work together. Basically, Global Linker is a platform that Union Bank made for the Filipino SMEs. It's basically like your Facebook and LinkedIn for business owners, the one-stop shop for all your business needs. So from having few as 5 services offered back in the day, now it's a full working platform that allows you to also open a bank account digitally wherever you are in the Philippines. And what's cool about that, our partnership, is that we won 5 awards together in that span. And I'm proud to share that with our viewers because, again, this partnership is all about how do you tell a great story out there. Because no matter how brilliant your product is, if only one person is able to tell that story, then it won't make sense. At the end of the day, someone has to help you amplify that message. And I think that's where things got it going for us. That, if I'm not mistaken, we started the launch around March 2018. Then the rest was history. And from there, we did a lot of experimentations. And we tried to pitch which ano ba yung magandang istorya na
Correct.
papakinggan ng ating audience, di ba? That's also where we learn na ano ba yung magandang recipe for our listeners, for our viewers. Kasi most of the time, we only hear ourselves, diba? And that's a good thing to start off. And eventually, we led off to our massive event that we worked together, where we invited the Filipino business owners to Singapore for uh, for a conference or to attend the Singapore FinTech Festival. Basically, it's a learning activity to meet and greet Filipino business owners. And at the same time, yun yung offline version ng platform kasi since you're working with different SMEs in Asia, because the platform has around 350,000 plus members already coming from India, Thailand, Singapore, Hong Kong, and then now in the Philippines. Diba? So yun yung offline version. So yun yung meet up, diba, in Singapore. And baka you'd like to start off kung sa mo gustong simulan ng ating pag-uusap doon kasi marami tayong hindi makakalimutang pinagdaanan doon. Kasi yun yung mga bagay na nakakamiss kasi 'di ba, those things, or at a time na pre-pandemic, the things that you can do na magwawalwal sa ano yun, sa Clarky at the middle of night. At the same time, may maliligaw na guest sa airport at ako wala akong magawa. Habang nasa Singapore ako, nag-aabang ako kung ano mangyayari, di ba?
I know. Actually, Mo, mabalik lang dun sa una mong sinabi kanina. When you said experimentation,
Yeah.
that was the first thing that came to mind because, I just want to thank you guys for also, trusting Team Asia with all of the ideas that we had together, right? Because actually it was in that trust, on that note, the trust portion is what I would like to just highlight for the Singapore trip. So,
Yeah.
yes, ladies and gents, Mo and I went to Singapore together for we brought Mo 25, right? 25
25.
amazing, inspiring Filipino business owners for them to experience the Singapore FinTech Festival and to really showcase their
What they have.
products, right? And
Yeah.
what they're pushing forward with like-minded and passionate individuals from the regions that Mo mentioned. So, it was a trip that I think, Mo, we had just a couple of weeks to actually push forward. We were able to, so I'm not sure how many sleepless nights we
20,
had, but
28 days to be exact. 28 days to be
28
exact.
days. Exactly.
Yeah.
28 days to make it happen. And guys, Mo went to Singapore first. So
Yeah.
yung mga kwento niya na about yung may taong naliligaw sa airport and wala siyang magawa, it was, I think, Mo, that was it. It was like the we don't know everything that's happening in Singapore, but most got it, and most like, I don't know what's happening in the Philippines, but I'm sure
Bahala
they
na kayo
got
doon.
it. I know, but I mean, this is one of my favorite stories actually, Mo, was when you brought the core team together. And the best way that we could take care of this group of our fabulous contingency, and make sure that they had a fabulous experience all throughout, was to ensure that we were able to divide and conquer, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so one of my favorite things actually, Mo, on partnership, really, I mean, I know we laughed about it, but to me, it's one of my favorite stories, is when
Nakakahiya.
you is when you divided us, the core team, into military groups. You have your Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, right? So that was our core
ABC.
group, ABC, right? And then you'd think I would be Team Delta, but no, I was Team Tango. I don't know. but
And,
but
and,
but
and
no,
my reason was I forgot what's next after Charlie. Very, very open.
very open. I really thought that I was like, oh, maybe I'm Team Tango because I'm Team Asia. but then, but apparently Mo forgot Delta. But it's okay because I took it. I wanted to be Tango. But
Yeah, yeah.
but then for me, Mo, I think that was what really worked, was because we all had, I love going back to what we said. I love that we're coming into full circle, was we all had a role to play.
Yeah, yeah.
Each team had a role to play to make this experience a great thing, from the wake up calls at like 7 o'clock in the
Oh my
morning
gosh,
to
guys. Huwag niyong kasama si Bea siya. Alarm clock niyo. Parang, ready na siya lahat. Pero ako, babangon pa lang ako.
like Mo was like, I just need to put out some emails, and I'm like, but it's go time, and I'm like, why don't you need to write emails? I go, done. Yeah. So they called me Miss Alarm Clock, but then but see, that was the role I had to play, Mo. I had to be your alarm clock,
Yeah.
right? But all kidding aside, for me, that was I love that experience because we brought the Filipino to
Yeah.
Singapore,
Yeah.
and just the camaraderie, Mo, of
Even up to now.
not only Union Bank and Team Asia, but the 25 people that we brought together. They are, the camaraderie and the teamwork is so strong. They're helping one another out. They're really pushing for Union Bank Global Linker. It was just a fabulous partnership, as it is, but then it blossomed and even elevated into this beautiful, bigger partnership and community
Yeah.
with other people, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think that, Mo, for me, the reason why I love Global Linker and Singapore, specifically our Singapore trip together, was you could see the positive
Yeah.
impact we were making.
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
was so it was so front and center, the smiles on people's faces, saying that we made it,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
we were able to showcase the Philippines. I was so proud to be Filipino. I am proud to
Yeah.
be Filipino, but that moment when you could say gawang Pinoy yan, and
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
we were so beautifully represent Teka Pilipinas in that big forum expo place, man, what an experience. If I could shout at the rooftops and say that this is why we're doing this, and this is why this partnership is such a close thing to my heart, is because you could see the positive impact
Yeah.
that our partnership was making. Baka naman maiyak na ako nito, Mo.
To the viewers of the show, in parallel to what Beo was explaining, because at the time, aside from us being able to bring in 25 Filipino business owners in that event, Union Bank was also the only loan representative in the Philippines to put up a booth and showcase the technologies that we have. So it was a nice experience to showcase our business owners who comprise 99.5% of our businesses in the country. At the same time, allow them to see the best practices that other countries have, and at the same time, show what's the best thing that's coming in the Philippines and raising that flag. Diba? Nakakayak man siya o hindi, pero that's the reality of it. It was really for me, it was a humbling experience. At the same time, it was a cool moment, diba, to represent your country. And it's one of those rare occasions na you ended up representing your country, and you end up also with the people that you don't know who they are and end up being friends until this day. And I guess going back to our symbiotic relationship and how openness and honesty is important. And until this day, those 25 people still have open relationships and honest relationships with both of us.
I know, and it's
Diba?
so amazing, Mo, to see how how the partnership started, how it's going, and and the beautiful knowledge, knowing that whatever this partnership puts in the table, we are able to make a positive impact in individuals and communities, right? So of course, I know we've been talking about our own partnership. We really are partners in success. Sabi ko
Yeah.
sana in crime, pero para sa iba yun.
Wag na. Ano,
but
saka
but
na.
Mo, but Mo, I do have to ask also because of course, I know you've worked with, our team, and going back again to the importance of having a team that has your back.
Yeah.
What would you say would be, the important things that you've experienced, through our partnership together, are both of our brands, coming together and making meaningful magic together.
Yeah, yeah. And I thank you for leading to that question, because before I answer that, I guess what's important, and one thing that we like to stress about is that I guess we're both lucky in such a way that we were able to meet prior to whatever is going on to this day. Because to be honest, it's very challenging to start relationships when you meet them online. It's very, I mean, it's the way to go today, but there's of course that feeling of uncertainty whether or not that success can somehow lead on to something positive, di ba? I mean, that's real talk, ika nga, di ba? But what I liked about how things are going on is that despite those challenges that we had in the past, nadala natin siya till this day. And what I liked about that in that essence is the fact that we whatever our experiences in the past, whether it was offline, the experience today when nag-digital na tayo all throughout has remained the same. And when you look at, again, going back to the symbiotic relationship, the reason why you keep in that ecosystem is because of the fact that uh, that those experiences are intrinsic in the past are still the same as they were today. And that's the reason why, to answer your question, nothing has changed for both of us. And we have actually leveled up and improved how we are able to amplify messages and at the same time talk to and relate to our audiences.
Mo, I really appreciate you sharing that. Thank you so much. I mean, our partnership has just been such a huge blessing, through the years, because we've learned so much from you guys, and we super appreciate the trust also that you've given us to be able to move our stories forward. I mean,
Yeah.
it's such a beautiful, aside from symbiotic relationship, I think more than anything for me, it's such a beautiful journey,
Yeah.
right? Like what you said, there were times when, we've had to stop first, take a break in another direction, right? And then we go back. I mean, that's the reality. Sabi mo nga, real talk of anything. But as long as there is that, openness, honesty, having the same goals, we are able to really forge ahead and bring to bring our customers, whose behaviors are also changing, by the way,
Yeah.
meaningful, relevant interactions that they need today. And Mo, actually, I mean, I know we've been talking for like, so long now. So I want to make sure that we're able to bring back our viewers to the point of meaningful partnerships and connections. My last question for you actually is, what would be your advice for our listeners in finding the partners? I don't want to say the perfect partners, Mo, right?
Okay.
Because we all have a different definition of partners.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I would like to actually ask you, what would be your advice for our viewers on how to pick, the best partner for them?
Mm. That's an interesting question because it can be answered in the different ways. But to find the perfect partner at this time is a lot of perseverance, and at the same time a lot of in our language, KYC. Because in the digital space, you still need to know who you are talking to. So
Yes.
my advice to your viewers who want to find meaningful partnerships is, of course, first is you need to talk to them. That's still the most important thing, whether through online, through this type of platform, or when you meet personally, make sure that you are practicing social distancing and all those things. Second is it's also important for you to know that you have the same goals, because like in any relationship to prosper, whether it's personal or work, it's important that both of you share the same views. Kasi ang pangit naman if uh, this brand is looking for something else, and yung expertise ng isang brand naman is not aligned to your personal or your brand's goals and objectives, di ba? And the third most important thing is how you can find. Be open. Be open in such a way na not really open 24/7. Ha? Open lang in such a way to accept different types of personalities. Kasi you have to understand that not everyone else or is aligned or keen or familiar with the person that you're talking to. So be open na merong iba dyan na they mean something else when they speak of something, but what they really mean is their best intentions. So keep on mind those three things, and you'll be able to find the perfect part for you or for your
I
business.
love it. And actually, Mo, if I may say so myself, your tips and tricks can actually also be helpful for them in looking for meaningful partners that could partners or partnerships or deepening relationships also in their personal lives, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Because
yeah.
times have changed. Mo says, it's perseverance, it's having the faith that we're here, right?
Yeah,
KYC, know who you're talking to.
yeah.
Right, and being open. Mo, may sagot din ako dyan. And actually for me, if I could, this is for me actually how I would like to close off our conversation, because it was all I could think about actually as you were sharing your top three, your tips and tricks. It's my favorite African proverb. For those of you guys who have been listening to Team Asia for a while now, you probably heard me say this once or twice. But it's an old African proverb, Mo, that goes like this. If you want to go fast, go alone. But
Okay.
if you want to go far, you go together. And Mo, I think that going together has a lot of things that you need to put into the recipe of going together.
Yeah,
Again, we said it kanina, it's not always peaches and creams and rainbows and butterflies. But if you persevere, if you work together, if you really deepen your relationship and get to know who you're talking to, and you are open to change, open to crazy ideas,
yeah.
open to palo, and open to changes and
Basta
experimentation, and
open.
basta open,
Yeah,
'di ba?
yeah,
Those are key metrics of success. And using our terminology again, client agency relationship,
yeah,
key metrics,
yeah,
But kidding aside, those are the elements actually that go into a good partnership of going together. There's a lot of work that goes behind it. But guys, if you persevere, if you get to know your partner and deepen that relationship, and of course being open, the success of your project together will be rainbows and butterflies.
yeah, yeah.
you
And
know
one more thing to add to that,
yeah,
importante,
absolutely.
importante ito. Pinaka-importante, dapat may chemistry. Yan. Yun ang pinaka-importante doon.
And at that point, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to end. There was no other perfect ending than what Mo said. Dapat make chemistry. And you can take that, guys, as really one of the key ingredients for a meaningful partnership or a meaningful connection that we are all seeking to get us through, and to define this future reimagined. Mo, thank you so much for being such beautiful energy and source of wisdom and source of happiness and great reminders today. I really appreciate you taking this time. I mentioned earlier, you are really the perfect guest for this, Mo, because you and I have the same vision for what meaningful connections can really truly do for us in a positive manner if we have the right partner beside us. So Mo, maraming salamat. Thank you so much for being part of it. Please take care and more power to Union Bank, the best digital bank and running.
Maraming salamat din sa iyo, Bea, and to all of Team Asia for your hard work and making sure that our messages are heard. And as I would say normally to close in our sessions, ingat.
Ingat, guys. Thank you so much, Mo. That's it for today's episode of B2B Breakfast to Business with your morning girl, Bea Lim. Please don't forget to tune in to Team Asia's social media accounts to keep yourself updated on these breakfast happenings. Remember to stay safe. See you again soon here at B2B Breakfast to Business. Thank you. Ciao.
Breakfast to Business.